Hello, welcome back to Monster of the Week, Pine Lake. This is episode 2. If you haven't watched or listened to episode 1, do that first. We won't do character introductions on all of that here, so if you want to know who people are, you should go back to the first episode. But Will is going to give us a recap of our last session.
So, a student at our school, Brooke Johnson, was killed. The faculty wouldn't tell us how, but we learned that it was in a unusual and quite horrific manner. We had a bit of a squabble as we investigated it at lunch break, and Joss, our resident flake, thoroughly pissed off her brother, Pete Johnson, but then set out into the woods and off to go heads into town to go check things out, leaves bunks off school, while Lyle went and talked to Pete about his sister over a cigarette and learned that that Pete found Brooke's body. Brooke often spent time in the woods, and it was like she was eaten by a bear or something. There was a bloody trail going towards a town, passing towards the school from the woods, basically. Meanwhile, our initiate, Pat Bertone, was instructed by a secret member of his cult, the art teacher, Mrs. Terrence, that he should try and get access to the body of Brooke. And I think that in terms of the mystery, that is about what we discovered, because everyone rolled exceptionally badly apart from me, I think, that last session. So, yeah.
XP were earned. Yeah.
They sure were. For the town itself, the morgue is located in the hospital. We have a sheriff's. There's a sheriff's. What do you call it? Sheriff's station, but it's still fairly small. That hasn't grown a lot as the town has grown. But the hospital, so the hospital houses the morgue. And Dot believed that she could use her father's keys to gain access to the morgue. He's the warden of the prison. He has a lot of overlap with law enforcement. They have a sometimes contentious relationship, but he's important, and he has. Dot believes he has access to those keys. When we ended the session, I believe Dot and Pat were going to take off to try to do that, while Lyle, as Will mentioned, had been talking to Pete. And I think we're going to go to Joss first and see what he is up to now.
Hello. I'm going to contact a member of the base investigation team, which is one of my character skills, I suppose. Basically it's network. I've got a small group of allies of others who have experienced similar things to my first encounter, which was basically being held in the Air Force Base against my will for an unknown period of time. So this is basically a support group. We meet every now and then. It's quite a conspiracy group, basically. And it can have up to 5 members. So the person I'm going to contact today is Catherine Morgan. She's a journalist at the Pine Lakes Gazette. Would that be sort of a local newspaper in the States? And Josh would like to find out what the paper knows about the death.
Sure. Pine Lake Gazette. So do you have a specific move for this? or
Well, it just says detail up to 5 members with useful skills related to what happened to them. None of them are up for fighting monsters. It's a bit of a
In the book, I think these would be like a step below, like what they call allies. Allies are people who are like will fight the monsters and will take an active role. But what they are is they're friendly NPCs who may get in trouble as part of a hard move. They're people to kill. Basically, is the way I look at them, or throw and get in trouble. But they will generally help you to the extent of what they might know. Without requiring a move, or if there is a move, it might be like, it's going to be dangerous. Manipulate them to do it for you because of your shared interest in whatever, or there might be like an act under pressure that sort of get to them in time and or something like that.
I mean, I'm happy to make. I'm sort of viewing them that they can allow access to areas that I probably couldn't.
Yeah, it's
as in she's a journalist. She's got access
fictional
to
positioning. Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to make a investigator mystery role using them as the gateway into it.
I think I don't know why I didn't say that, because that's the obvious one, right? And I think it's because you're piecing together the information that they get you. So it's investigator mystery, and even on a miss investigator mystery, you could learn something, but then the line goes dead as they whatever, right?
Yeah, and that's the next question is, how do you contact her? Because this is the 1980s. You don't have a cell phone. So are you cutting school? Are you
I've definitely cut school. So this will be a payphone. Because, of course, you got to keep moving around and using different payphones because the base is listening in. They've clearly tapped my house because they know I know about this. But yeah, this should fool the base. As long as I'm not on the line for too long at all. So, this is basically, saying, Catherine, it's me, Joss. I really need to know, this, you must have heard about this death. Me and my friends are investigating it. What does the paper know? Surely the Gazette has got some leads.
Yeah, so I assume there's like a payphone across the street from the school. I don't think there would be one on the school grounds, but it's not like you need to go far. So yeah, let's do the roll and we'll see what you can find out.
But indeed, my team is right. It wouldn't be this is Joss. This is Pain Warrior. Yeah, we can't tell each other our true names just in case one of us gets compromised. Okay, so let's make that roll. Let's find that roller. It is in safety tools.
On the safety tools, yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
I will.
So easy just to press that 2d6 button. Oh, a 4 and a 1 give me a total of 5, but luckily I have +2.
Nice. So
just gets me over the line for investigator mystery, which is roll plus sharp. So that gets me to 7.
So you get to hold 1. So
looking through that list, I think the only at this stage of the game is either what has happened here or where it says where did it go. It's more where were they going, possibly. But we didn't ever ask what's happened here, did we, previously? So I think that's probably the most appropriate question. Most of the others relate to us having seen the monster, etc. So
I did ask
what sort of creature is it? I think we're pushing our luck a bit on that.
I did ask Pete what happened here. But Pete found the body, whereas she might have more knowledge about what's been discovered or something, like
So yeah, what you have, the information you have is like Will said in the introduction. You know roughly where she was killed. You know that it was very gruesome and brutal. You know that she had been at least partially eaten, and you know that there were blood trails going towards the town, and the school is the closest part of town from there. But I think if you want to have more details on what happened there, you can definitely get that from her. So if that's the question you want to go with, I think like in your preliminary discussion, she tells you, "Yeah, I've been there. I have pictures. It's we're working on it for the Tuesday edition. This is Monday after the weekend, and I think this is like a local paper. It comes out like 3 times a week. There's, I think, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Saturday is like the weekend thing. So this for their purposes, this happened at a very bad time because it's going to be late. They're late on the ball.
Cool.
So yeah, what she can tell you like over the phone, and she's the same way. She doesn't want to talk too long about this on the phone. She's not quite as paranoid as you are about that, but I can.
She'll die first.
Sorry?
She'll die first. Then you got to protect yourself. Yeah, I mean, I'll ask her, has the Gazette managed to get a photographer out to the scene?
Yes, they have. And that's her. She's like, it's a small paper. You do double duty. It's that sort of thing.
Excellent. And was it as grisly as some say is?
Oh, yeah, it was horrible. And she sounds kind of excited about it, which is maybe not a great sign of her mental stability, but yeah, and she describes a scene of terrible carnage, blood everywhere. Like this body was absolutely torn apart, like physically, literally torn apart, torn to pieces, and partially consumed by some sort of unclear what type of creature. It doesn't, they like, from what she could see, there wasn't like big bite marks. There were definitely claw marks, but she's not an expert on these things. She's like been to scenes where deers or something have been killed by a bear, so she's seen similar things, and this was in that, like, a similar category, but this seemed more vicious. Like this wasn't an animal that just killed to eat. This was something more brutal than that.
Do you think it's an escaped green from the base?
I don't know.
One of those little dudes, but really big.
Seems unlikely. They don't have claws, do they?
Oh, you never know what the government's done to them. They could have mutated them into anything. Okay, thanks, Catherine. Oh, I got to get off the line. You never know who's listening.
One more thing.
Oh, okay.
There was, I think, I'm not a tracker, but I think that the trail was coming from the Air Force base. What, at least general direction.
Thanks, Catherine. We'll get on to it. Leave it to us.
Yeah, cool. So you get back into school. You can go to your next class if you want. And I assume Lyle is also staying in school for now, while Dot and Pat are going off. So, yeah, Dot and Pat. I don't think either of you have a car, but like the hospital is in the town center, so it's walking distance. You can get there. And Dot, I assume your house is also like in the town itself, not like you're living on a farm outside of town.
No, we're definitely living in town.
Yeah.
It took a while for my dad to find a place to settle into once he realized we were going to be here for a while. So we were in an apartment at first, but then he found a modest house near, not too far out from the city center.
Yeah, I would assume, but this is like going from my pop culture references of American TV, that most of the residential area would be houses rather than apartment buildings. But I'm sure there are like some like 2-3 level apartment buildings as well
in the city center. Jim, feel free to add to this, but like on the ground floor, there's businesses, but the second, third, fourth floors get rented out as loft space, apartments, that sort of thing.
Yeah, Main Street would probably have some of that mixed use stuff. And the other thing that there absolutely would be here is if you're below a certain level of income, there are almost certainly 2 or 3 trailer parks in the area, especially in the far west like this,
100%.
Yeah. So that's a thing as well. So anybody that, wasn't making a certain amount of money or was just itinerant, like I suspect a lot of the families that are here to be close to the people that are in prison, they're living in trailer parks.
Probably some of the COs too.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah.
And since there is like some seasonal work here, there will be some people who are staying just for the summer or just for the winter if they're doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, for whatever, for logging season or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Cool. So Dot and Pat. Dot, do you think you could get those keys without issue? Your dad will be at work at the prison.
Sure, he keeps a spare set at home just in case.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to, but well,
And these were the keys. He told you that these are my work keys. You never need to touch these. You should just know where they are in case something special happens.
I never understand why parents do that, because the moment you say never touch these, it's catnip. You've guaranteed that I'm going to do something with it just because. So, breaking into the morgue, I didn't think I was going to do this when I woke up this morning, but here we are.
Yep. So you get the keys. Getting to the hospital isn't a problem. And this is a small hospital. It's not like a huge building, but there is still a reception area. I assume there's like 1 ambulance, and there's probably like a loading dock in the back, that sort of thing. But it's not like there's a lot of ways to get in there. So what's your plan? Are you just going to walk in, or do you have something else planned?
Really quick, Pat, what did you think of the house? Like the modest accommodations and modest furniture.
Yeah.
Have I? This would probably be the first time I've been to your place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there would absolutely be that thing where like you're going to like unlock the door and stuff like that and everything, and I just kind of like stand on your walk and, just kind of like turn my back and I'm looking at other houses in the neighborhood and stuff like that. Like clearly with the presumption that I am not going into your house with you.
At which point I turn and say, what are you doing? People are going to pay attention. Somebody's going to notice. Get in here.
and I like look a little surprised and all right. And like it's the thing where like I would go in and like, stand politely in your foyer, while you go and get the keys, waiting there, looking at whatever picture is up on the wall until you get back.
So you're not looking at the bookshelves or anything.
I mean, whatever, like glancing at them and stuff, but I'm like fastidiously try, like I'm kind of maybe even a little ostentatiously performatively not being nosy, right? Kind of like one of these while you're going to get the keys.
Like staying close to the front door and not
yeah.
walking around looking at stuff, just standing there.
Yeah, or asking questions or anything like that. Yeah.
And I yell from the back, go ahead and get yourself some water, Pat. I'm going to be a second.
So, Dot, is there a picture of your mother in the foyer?
There is a picture covered with black cloth.
Ooh, dramatic. Is it you or your dad who has put up the picture and covered the picture?
I put the picture up. My dad covered it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he recognizes that it's important to me to have it up there, because otherwise it's just a bunch of pictures of he and I.
Mm-hmm.
But he, it's a little too painful for him still. He hasn't started dating yet.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So,
and,
Dot, sorry.
I was going to say, and when I come back from the foyer to the foyer with the keys, Pat, I've completely changed my outfit.
Oh, yeah. Like I kind of raise an eyebrow, and I say, "Oh, do I need to change too?"
No. I put on some slightly nicer clothes because that way it'll be a little less obvious.
Okay. All right. Are you ready to go?
Yeah. I got the keys and everything. But Pat, how do you react to realizing that you have been in a house alone with someone your age who just changed clothes? Or is that something that doesn't occur to you?
I mean, I think it does, but it's like I said, it's more that self-consciousness of like, oh shit, am I dressed right? You know what I mean? Not the like, oh, she was naked 2 minutes ago, like that like it doesn't go through my head in that way, but definitely in a like, oh crap, I'm still wearing my like school outfit. So yeah, I look a little, there's that moment of like a little bit of social panic, like, do I need to change? And you're like, nope, you're good. And I'm like, okay, all right, then. That makes sense. Your explanation for it completely makes sense to me that, yeah, if we're going to the hospital, you want to, at least one of us needs to be dressed a little more formally.
Yeah.
Cool. So, like I said, getting to the hospital, that's just like a 5-minute walk. What do you do when you get there?
I'm going to walk right up to the desk and greet the person by name and say, sorry to bug you like this, but my dad sent me to get some files. He's tied up at work. And I was hoping you could just let me in.
Yeah. So the person at the reception desk is Charlie Mann. He's the nurse, or the main nurse. Hey Dot. Your dad sent you. He hasn't called ahead. But
seriously, I tell you, he is so scatterbrained about stuff like this. Like, I can't. Last night he sent me out. He sent me to get takeout, and forgot to call and forgot to give the credit card number, and I had to like try to scrounge it together out of my wallet. I mean, my dad. Yeah, Charlie, if you could look the other way this time, I'd really appreciate it. I don't want him getting embarrassed about forgetting something else important.
Cool. I think we should do this. I think this is manipulate keeper character, probably.
Oh, yeah, manipulate somebody. Now let's see. I forgot whether I'm charming. I'm a little charming.
Yeah. Yeah, some
I'm
charm.
slightly charming. Let me refresh because I lost connection to the server. Okay, so 2d6 plus 1. That's a weak hit.
7 on the dot for dot. So they'll do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show that you mean it. So yeah, I think he wants you to, sure, I can let you in, but I'll have to sign you in, in case, just in case something happens.
You sure? I couldn't like go get you a burger and a shake from Red's?
Nah, I just had my lunch. I'm good, thank you. But you know,
you're turning down a free burger and shake. And at this point, I'm really trying to flirt with him to see if like that'll get me in without having to sign in.
That was a 7 to 9 bucket.
Yeah,
that's the consequence.
Okay, and I'll just once I realize it's not going to work, I'm just like, okay, fine, and I'll scribble something that occupies the line, but is completely illegible as anything.
Yeah, and he doesn't really check your signature or anything because he knows it's you, and he trusts you. Basically, he just wants to make
Cover
sure
his own butt.
That you're not, and this is like enough of a test for him that he believes that you're here to do what you're saying you're going to do, and not just up to some mischief. So yeah, you sign in an illegible manner, and you're in the hospital. You have the keys to the morgue, so you can go down there. You probably have to go off in a different direction, or are you like officially going down to the morgue?
Oh yeah, I'm officially going down to the morgue.
Cool.
You know, Dad needed some prisoner record or something like that.
Yeah. So Charlie tells you that Dr. Wu is down there, so he'll help you with whatever you need.
Awesome. Charlie, you're the best. I owe you one.
Yeah, I may take you up on that burger some other day.
Well, if you're ever at Red's and I'm there, just let me know.
And this is kind of playful. He's absolutely not flirting with you, but it's just like playful banter.
Yeah. It would be weird if he was flirting with me, considering that he's probably late 20s, early 30s?
He's mid-20s. But okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make
100%.
Clear, like player to player.
Yes, 100%. It did not occur to me that he would be flirting back.
Yeah.
No, he's being customer service polite. Like if he's the guy that interacts with everybody that comes in, then he's just gonna be pleasant with everybody. So
yeah. And I mean, he knows you at least by sight. You probably talked to him a couple of times before. So
he also knows what my dad does and that he's armed.
Yeah. That too. Plus, he genuinely seems to be a nice dude. So, but who knows? But
So far.
that's what it seems like. There's an elevator going down to the morgue. It's like the hospital isn't new. So we're in the 80s. This hospital was probably built in, I'm going to guess, the 50s. So it's
this is either that or it was built in the 30s as like a public works project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like as one of these like Depression era government handing out money, and it's got a bunch of
that's good.
Like murals and carvings and
a lot of that kind of like that gives us an excuse to have a kind of weird, slightly deco, maybe even a little bit Gothic touches here, because whatever like out of work architect they got to design it, put some flourishes in when the WPA built it. Yeah.
So you got these like ceilings that are higher than would be in a modern building, big windows and that sort of thing.
That's awesome. It looks like something out of Gotham City. Yeah.
And the elevator has clearly been retrofitted in. There wasn't an elevator there originally, or it was some very primitive version. This is more modern, but it doesn't quite fit with the rest of the style. This one was put in maybe 20 years ago, so it's more modern. But I think it still has like the metal, what would you call it? The metal doors that you pull together. It would be older then, but it's old enough to have those kinds of
a gate that you have to pull and open and close. I love that.
Does it actually have an operator?
No. They don't have the manpower to spare for that. You have to do it yourself. But and the elevator it's like it shakes a bit when it gets started, and it's a little bit, it feels unsteady. This is not a safe, like feels like a safe, smooth ride. It's shaking a bit, and it's even like the light flickers a bit as you're going down. And it opens up into this bare corridor. I think it would be like stonework probably, if it's that old. I don't think it would be concrete down here. And it's bare walls, metal doors, and like
flickering overhead lights.
Exactly.
Linoleum, probably like puke green and baby blue.
Yeah. They've like painted the walls, but it's still stonework. So it's they were painted long enough ago that the paint has flaked a bit, and it's not.
I wonder if it'd be tile.
Ooh.
Tile walls and floors.
Walls?
Yeah, tile walls and floors, because that feels like a 30s era thing that it would all be tile and like when like no matter how hard you work to keep it clean, like 50-year-old tile is just gonna have just like it's all gonna be like gray where the grout is and all that kind of stuff, and have that dingy feel to it, even if they're working hard to try and keep it clean after that long.
Some of the tiles
have staff to do that.
Yeah.
Cool. So the morgue, the entrance to the morgue itself is straight ahead. There's like a couple of doors going to what you assume is like a storage closet and an office, that sort of thing. But the main morgue is straight ahead. The door is closed. You don't know if that's the case. Usually there is like you can open it and have it like stood open, but right now it's closed.
So Pat, do you want to distract Dr. Wu or do you want me to distract Dr. Wu? Because one of us is going to have to distract him and the other is going to have to, well, do whatever we can to get as much information as we can fast.
Have you ever seen a dead body before?
No, have you? I mean, well, not in a morgue. I mean, there was my mom, but, you know, she was in a coffin.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ask like
okay.
that.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've taken some. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, my parents, you know, one of them's a biology teacher, so.
Wait.
So.
You said
college.
corpses?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
biology?
cadavers. That's how you like become a medical student.
Okay. I thought that was in like later. I didn't know that was like, you know, just like, you know, hey, biology 101, here's your corpse.
Oh, well, no, but I mean, but they've, you know, I've seen a body.
Okay. So maybe you're the one who should look at the body then. Are you okay with that?
Why wouldn't I be? It's just a body.
That's kind of a big thing to most people. Most people don't see a lot of bodies. Like they see them at funerals and that's about it.
This is when the door to the morgue opens and Dr. Wu comes out, and he's, think he is, yeah, he's looking very serious, a bit gray in the face actually, and he comes out and he's like halfway to the elevator before he notices that you're even there. He's clearly distracted. He's got a clipboard with some papers with some notes on it that he's checking. And
hey, Dr. Wu. I hope you can help. My dad sent me to get some files.
Yes. You're the Harris guard.
Yes,
right?
My dad's Franklin. Yeah, he's the warden.
Yes, of course. Yes. Well, let me show you to the files, and I'm sure I'll be able to help you find whatever you need. And he opens one of the.
Are you okay, Dr. Wu? You look a little. Well, you look like you're about to throw up.
And he's clearly forcing some cheer, but he's pretending to be, oh no, it's nothing, just here, and he opens one of the doors, and it leads into like a room with filing cabinets. It's pretty big. This is clearly the files for the whole hospital, not just for the morgue. So there's rows and rows of filing cabinets, like floor to ceiling, a lot of stuff in there.
Wow.
He comes in with you, and so what are you looking for? What is it you need? And Pat is left outside in the corridor. And
yeah, so I mean, so like the second the two of them are through the door into his office, I am like just like, you know, like I just slide right into the morgue, and you know, my eyes are scanning and assuming there's, you know, something laid out on the slab with like a sheet over it, right? You know, as I slide in, I'm grabbing a pair of latex gloves from the little dispenser of them that they've got there, and I'm snapping them on, and I reach into my back pocket, and there's a little, and I've got like a butterfly knife as I'm pulling back the sheet to look at what's underneath there.
Yeah, what's underneath the sheet is it's loose body parts. This is not, and it's similar to what had been described before. This is so you can recognize that this is Brooke. It's only like her face is badly mangled, but you can recognize that it's her, and it's like her head, her rib cage is like broken open, and there's not a lot left of her torso. One of her arms has clearly been gnawed at. The other one is mostly whole, but and is connected to like the rest of her body.
Yeah.
It's that kind of state.
Got it. And and so with the butterfly knife, I kind of poke and I lean right into some of the most egregious wounds, and I get like right down next to him, with my eye like 2 inches from the shredded flesh and everything. And I just start with the butterfly knife, just kind of start carefully like poking it apart and, like examining those wounds to see if I can find anything maybe that like broke off and got left in it, or even just recognize the pattern, the bites or something like that. And that's how I'm gonna, investigate the mystery here, is just kind of, carefully going over her corpse.
Absolutely.
So,
And you can tell from this experience with your mother being a biology teacher, and you've seen this kind of thing before, you can see that she has been through like an autopsy. There wasn't
whatever they've
open, but you
Sure.
can see the signs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I whatever. And I'm sure there's like samples set off to the side or something like that, but I don't care about any of that. I'm getting my nose right down into the meat here to see if I can figure anything out. And this is also kind of the thing where like the audience watching the show, like he hasn't just seen a body before. Is clearly, this does not seem to cause him any sort of distress, the situation that he's encountering here. So, all right. So when I investigate a mystery, I'm going to roll plus sharp, which is -1 for me. I am not terribly observant. We're going to see if we can figure out ways to do that. But for the moment,
otherwise, there's an XP on the table. So.
Oh yeah. What do we got here? Oh no! Sorry. Roll with me is making me refresh. Hang on a second here.
Yeah, I'm reading an 8 for you.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic. All right. Yeah, that's 9 minus 1 is 8. So, yeah, on a 7 and 9, I can hold 1 and ask you one of the following questions. Absolutely. What is being concealed here? What does my close examination of the corpse reveal to me that the coroner missed? Is what I'm curious about. Yeah.
And I think this is something that you realize is happening as you're doing this examination, because you get in close and you start poking around and you realize that it's really cold, and it's not just it's cold in the morgue because it's always cold in the morgue, but you realize that the longer you're spending close to the body, the colder you're getting. And then you notice that it's starting to actually freeze the body itself.
Oh yeah, like little ice
starting
crystals forming or something. Yeah, okay.
And that's not normal. And this is clearly something that he wouldn't have seen because it wasn't happening then.
Yeah.
Let's cut to Dot. You're in. Oh, actually, let's go back to the school. Joss and Lyle, you're in your classes. Do you?
Has Joss come back after cutting class to make that phone call? Or
Indeed.
Yeah. Probably show up at the back of like whatever class I'm in and I distract the teacher for a second.
Well, I think as everybody else is it was actually gym class because I don't like Isabella Ruiz. She's not my most hated teacher, but clearly Jim is a pretty evil thing. So I just show up sort of at the end of class in gym kit that's clearly, not an ounce of sweat is upon me. Yeah.
Good hustle, Joss. You were great out there. Yeah.
Thanks, Lyle.
Yeah. And as Mr. Ruiz, I go like, oh, what's that? And I like lean over your shoulder and like pull you away, and I'm like leaning in. I'm like, so Pete says it like he found her out in the woods, man.
Oh yeah, I can definitely confirm that. I talked to a contact of mine, a high-level source, and they've got some pictures. Horrid. That's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, sounds pretty fucked up.
Something
I can't
red
believe
in the body, man. That's just wrong.
Pete had to find that. Like, Jesus. But
I hate to be the coroner that to the look of that, man. That's just not normal.
I mean, I guess you'd have to be like have a strong stomach or be some kind of sicko to go poking around in bodies.
Oh yeah, definitely some kind of sicko to be looking at that. Definitely. Oh yeah, man. That's wrong. Anyway, I can get my hand on some pictures if we need to corroborate evidence, but I'd prefer to keep that at a distance.
I mean, I didn't think we were running a kind of evidence-based organization, Like, I don't see this going in front of a judge, or I hope it doesn't go in front of a judge. Jesus, imagine.
Oh, no, man. They've bought off the judges. How many times do I have to tell you that, man? They're in the pocket.
I know they're in the pocket. Oh, the state. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure they are.
Deep state.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, I haven't seen Dot and Pat. I mean, do you think they cut class?
Pat?
Yeah.
He's as straight as they come, man. There's no way he'd cut class. Dot, well, that's a different matter.
Yeah, I can see that.
Pat, literally, he's as straight as a die.
I know, man, but like, it's making me feel itchy, them not being here and us being here. Like, it seems like the world's turned upside down, frankly.
You're right. 100%. Maybe we should cut as well. I don't want to get labeled like Pat's labeled.
Well, why don't we look?
I know the location.
Yeah, Pete told me, yeah.
Let's go out there and poke around, man.
Sounds good to me. But, he said that the blood trail came past the school. We should keep an eye out as we make our way past the... Would you have hall monitors in high school? Or would it just be a teacher running around? Like, yeah. Like, don't let the teachers spot us, okay? I'm supposed to be like the deputies really got our eyes on me this afternoon, so like it's only one. We're in last class, last period. We just got to make it pat through this one without getting seen, and we're good. But I would like, as we sneak our way out of the corridors and the halls, is there anything out of place that we spot as we leave the school with our massive familiarity with this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there definitely is. There is. You've noticed during. You hadn't noticed this before during the day, but now that you've been in gym class, you've been hustling around. Now that you're getting back into the school itself, it's clear that the heat is off. There's the elements or the radiators are getting cold, and as you're like sneaking through the school, you see that there's a notice on the door that goes down into the basement where like the boiler room and all of that stuff is. There's a notice that the boiler is out of order, the heat is out of order, but Miss Horn, who is the janitor, she's looking into it, so it should be fixed soon.
Shit me, man. They've got Horn on the case. That's going to take years to fix. She's useless, man.
Yeah. I mean, the way that the state of this school, he says as he throws a candy bar wrapper on the floor. Like, people just don't pick up after themselves. Oh, well, I guess, if they can't even leave the heating on, then why should we stay here? And I guess, like, meta-wise, I'll make a note of that. But fiction-wise, I think that the characters still want to leave and go to the woods rather than check out the cold blood.
Yeah.
And yeah, we will depart in the direction of the woods, scampering across the playground, and maybe like ducking behind the school buses as we get out, as we make our break for it.
Cool. We'll take a break here, I think. Let's take 5 minutes, be back at 10 past.
I'm back, Gandish.
Cool, cool. So I think we can get started with Dot and Dr. Wu in the records room. What do you tell him that you're there to get?
There were a couple of prisoners who died recently, and I need to get the coroner's reports on them. You know, just
Mhm.
talk screens, things like that. My dad wants to make sure that, you know, he needs to rule some stuff out. Because, you know, if their talk screen popped for anything, he needs to know about that to keep a tighter lid on the prison and what's getting in.
Cool.
So and these are actually people who died recently. So
Yeah.
you know, it's like I know their names because they were written about in the paper.
Mhm.
But you know, we all know that my dad didn't send me to get this stuff. But I have enough information that I can fake it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so
I think it's
he.
still a role, though.
Sorry?
I still think it's a role, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that sounds reasonable. So, are you just trying to like fake that you're there for something, or are you trying to look for something else while you're there?
I'm just trying to buy Pat time because Pat seems to have a clue about this stuff, and I really don't. So I can't. I do know a thing or two about paperwork because my dad is always doing it at the kitchen table late into the evening when he gets home. That is, when he doesn't
Yeah.
just leave it at the office. So
I don't think this is manipulate someone. That doesn't seem to.
it might be act under pressure.
Yeah, act under pressure seems fair. I don't think there's anything else that fits. So let's go with that. Which is cool, which you're not.
I was going to say, because I was like, we could do protect someone, but yeah.
Protect someone, that's prevent harm. So
Yeah.
that's.
Tell me, is this potentially a bad situation?
Not right now. What's do you have a thing for a move or something?
Just, you know, you mentioned that the body was unnaturally cold and getting colder and radiating cold outward in the room. So maybe I could read a bad sitch or read a sitch before we do a roll for keeping the acting under pressure.
I don't think that part is noticeable for you yet. You could try to. Is there a read a person thing here? No, there's not.
Nope.
No, that's part of investigative mystery, maybe.
I mean, arguably, you know, getting busted by the doctor is a bad situation for us. You know, and it's whether it's whether or not you think it qualifies for that move. And I would say that it's like investigative mystery. It's a general purpose move for like look around you now.
Yeah, you know, like to see if he's left any files just laying out while he turns his back to go through the filing cabinet or whatever. You know, that makes a lot of sense.
I guess I'd say that read a bad situation would be more along the lines of like, oh shit, we're about to get busted by him. How do I blag my way out? As opposed because the other one's investigating mystery, isn't it? Which
So
Okay.
I would say, you can absolutely do read a bad situation, but that will be related to you and Dr. Wu, not what's going on with Pat, other than
Okay.
the
That's
time
totally
pressure.
fair. Well, in that case, I will read a bad situation, which is plus sharp, and I am a little bit sharper than I am
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Well,
a
that's a
9.
weak hit. And I don't think I have anything that will advance it or that I can.
I mean, you can spend luck, but it seems a bit
Yeah.
extreme for that.
Okay. Yeah. Are there any dangers that Pat and I haven't noticed yet? Or is there any I mean,
Mhm.
is that a fair question? Because I mean, I know
Yeah.
as a player, as a character, I don't know about what's going on in the morgue, but
Yeah, absolutely. You notice that think you notice that Dr. Wu is really shook up. Like when he starts to help you bring out the files, his hands are shaking, and he's kind of babbling a bit, and that points towards that this is something more than just a gruesome killing. This wasn't just a bear that killed someone. That's unusual and rare, but it's something that happens. He's old and experienced enough that he would have seen something like that before. He is more affected than that, and I think you start to feel also the temperature dropping. And suddenly you see snowflakes in the air inside this room with the filing cabinets. And he's Dr. Wu doesn't notice. He's completely focused on the files, but you see like there's snowflakes drifting in the air.
I want to Dr. Wu.
Yes. What?
It's those are snowflakes, right?
What? Oh, there must be. And he's like transfixed, just looking at them drifting down, and you can see his eyes are kind of glazing over, and he is either he's just this was too much for him and he's gone into some kind of shock, or there's something worse going on. Let's cut back to Pat. So you have noticed that this body, the temperature is dropping. The body, parts of the body are frosting over, and suddenly you hear a crack, and you turn and you see that the arm that had been torn away and was like laying separate from the body, it's attached to the body now.
Oh, this feels like a bad situation that I want to try and get a handle on here.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So when you read a bad situation, look around and roll plus sharp. Again, not a thing I'm good at, but I'm gonna see what we can figure out anyways. With that, we got -1. You know, kind of like I see that happen, and then I'm kind of like frantically looking. You know what? I think I see that happen, and I kind of raise an eyebrow, and I, you know, then like go over, lean down, and look closely at where the wound is, like, you know, where it's reattached itself to, you know, kind of watch and see if I can figure out what's happening as that's going on. There's a 7. So on a 7 and 9, I'm going to hold 1. Man, what's the biggest threat here? What's going on? What do I need to worry about?
Yeah, what you need to worry about is that Brooke's corpse is, this scattered corpse is knitting itself together. It's freezing cold. It's starting to like fill up with ice where there used to be flesh that isn't there anymore. And it's starting to sit up.
Yikes. Like once the, like, is it a thing where like, the eyes were probably already open and maybe like rhymed over whatever, but once it like starts to do that, I kind of take a step back, grit my teeth, like quick glance around the room, left hand goes out, snaps up the bone saw, you know, like on the you know, like the corded bone saw he was using, you know, that you can use to like go through skulls and stuff like that. And I just like grab her by the hair and, you know, jam it into her neck to try and take the head off of it.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely a move. Sounds like
I'm kicking some ass. I'm kicking this thing's ass, I think is what I'm doing, right?
That sounds like what you're doing. So that's a roll with tough. And you don't have anything specific for this?
I do not.
I think maybe, does this count as an old-fashioned hand weapon? It's not really a weapon, but
no, because and it doesn't matter because that old-fashioned hand weapon is +1 when I'm protecting someone.
Okay.
As
I thought
opposed
it was
to
always +1 harm and +1 when you roll to protect someone.
You inflict +1 harm and get +1 when you roll to protect someone. Okay, all right. So you know what? So if I get that bonus harm, I'm not grabbing the bone saw. Yeah, I'm just going to use that. You know, I had that knife I was poking around in, and that's, whoa. Like I said, you know, kind of like grab a fistful of her hair and then just like jam the knife hard into her throat and start, you know, kind of trying to like saw through the neck to see if I can decapitate it. Because usually that will do the trick for something like, for, you know, when something comes back, you take the head off, and that usually does it. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I've got tough is what I'm good at. This is the thing that and this is also the thing where, again, first time in the show we've seen him fight, like he just immediately like, oh, okay, now I know what to do. You know, like that. No hesitation. But let's see how well this works. All right, so that's going to be a +2. Oh, there's a 14 there. That's what we like to see. All right. So I think I got some. If you roll a 10+, I choose an extra effect. So we're going to inflict harm on each other. And the thing that I have here is this is a silver knife. So this butterfly knife that I have is a silver blade, silver handles, you know, looks like antique, right? You know, scroll work on it. Maybe it's even a knife that somebody brought with them for luck when they got on that wagon train to go over the, over the mountains, handed down through the generations of the Burton family, right? Like filigreed scroll work down the handle and stuff. And so, that would normally do 1 harm, but it's going to do 2 harm because I've got that. I'm good with the ancient weapons. Yep. And if silver does anything extra to this thing, it's made out of silver. If that's one of its weaknesses, we haven't figured out what its weaknesses are yet. But and the additional thing that I am going to choose off of my list is I am going to force them where I want them, which is and I think what that looks like is I've got the knife jammed in its throat, and if the 2 harm that I do to it isn't sufficient to like cause it to stop thrashing, I like jam it down, chuck the knife out, and then like grab the gurney that it's on and shove it into one of the drawers in the morgue, like the freezer drawer, and then slam the freezer drawer shut on it.
Absolutely.
So that, it may be in there banging around, but it's stuck and can't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take whatever harm it deals back to me.
Yeah. It's going to deal 2 harm to you. And this is like cold fingers clawing at you while you're doing this. You jam the knife into its neck, and it's like you can feel that you're close to breaking the blade of the knife because she's frozen solid at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But you jam the knife in, which also means there's no blood coming out if there had been any left.
Yeah. Sure.
And she's still thrashing, but her head is turning like she can't see. She's like fumbling for you blindly. You pull your knife out, jump back, slam the gurney in. Dot, you hear this clatter from the morgue. Dr. Wu is still like just staring at these snowflakes drifting down. What do you do?
I'm gonna go check on Pat because that doesn't sound good. And what Pat doesn't know is that while I was getting changed, I also grabbed my dad's 38 from home. So snub nose fits real nice in my clutch. So, but I'm pulling that out, just in case there's something I need to shoot at. One good thing about having a dad like mine is he taught me how to shoot.
Yeah. Nice. So you get into the morgue. You see, what does you see, Pat? And she's still, this corpse is still thumping, like.
Oh yeah, we can hear it. And Pat has like jammed the drawer closed, and found something that he can like he's grabbed like an IV pole or something like that to jam it up between whatever the drawer handles to kind of hold it in there. And I turn to her and I say, "It's reanimated. We need to go. We need to get out of here and lock it in."
Reanimated? Wait, what's reanimated?
And I just point at the drawer, and you can hear the boom boom boom, like kicking and scratching in there. Brooke,
what?
Brooke, something's in her. It came back, and I hold up my left hand, and like my fingertips are like all blue, and there's like frost burns down the top half of my arm and stuff like this, like I stuck it in Nevada liquid nitrogen or something like that. And I hold up my hand and I say, "It's not safe. You have to go."
Shit. Do we call the cops?
And I widen my eyes and I say, we can think about that later. We need to get out of here.
Okay, well, we need to get Dr. Wu because
yes,
he's like, it started snowing in the records room.
okay, there's something very strange happening here.
it's like he was
And like I'm walking towards you and like kind of like let's go, kind of like hands on your shoulders, sort of not forcefully shoving you, but like we should go.
This pole is starting to bend, and you can see like this the door to this cabinet. It's starting to like dent at one of the corners.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. Going is a good idea. Let's go. Yeah.
And we and I say and like we go out the door and I say keys.
And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'll lock the door.
Yes. Thank you.
And I look around real quick, and is it too much to say that I spy a mop that's like sitting in a corner, and like that I can slide the mop through the door handles just to like start as another delaying tactic?
You can. There's like a cleaning supplies closet right next to the entry to the morgue. You know it's there. You can just grab them up from there. So you can absolutely do that. And at this point, Dr. Wu is like wandering out into the corridor. He's still holding like a crumpled set of files in his hand, and it looks like he may be starting to come to again.
I want to slap him. I mean, obviously I've put the gun away, but I'm just going to slap him and see if maybe that'll shake him out of whatever the hell he's got going on.
Yeah, he reacts and what's going on? And
Dr. Wu, I think we should go upstairs.
You can like faintly still hear the thumping from inside the morgue, but it's not clear if he's hearing.
And this is where I run to the elevator and press the call button. I'm like, come on, like that. As it slowly grinds its way down towards us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's cut away there and go to Joss and Lyle. You are on your way out into the woods. You know roughly which direction you're going in. And I mean, you've been in these woods. It's close to the school. It's close to the town. And you know roughly the place. Like Pete told you where it was. There's a couple of different ways you can get there. There's like this is an area close to town. There are plenty of paths. It's not like a heavily overgrown, but it's not like managed exactly either. It's not like a park forest. It's just a forest where people go. Yeah.
I think as we left the school, didn't you mention, Will, you wanted to use the move familiarity from the team sheet?
Well, we did, and that was where we got the clue about the boy.
Oh, okay.
But once we hook up with Pat and we find out about the strange cold, then
we can relay that back. Sweet. Yes. So to the woods.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we wander around for a bit. We bicker over whether we're going the right way or not. But I imagine that in classic TV fashion, like we catch the tail end of that. Like, are you sure it's this way? Pete said it was that way. Are you sure that you're, I think it was, and then we come across like the clearing or wherever it was.
Yeah, yeah. So which one of you is more at home in the woods?
I think Lyle's dad used to take him out here hunting. Not hunting, but shooting guns, I think. Not really a hunting thing, but more of a like, we're going to shoot some cans in the woods kind of stuff. The Gerhardt's not being that much for hunting. But yeah, I don't think he's like, a woodsman, but he's not at home in the woods just because he grew up around here. Yeah. Joss, I don't know about Joss. I mean, maybe this brings back memories or something, right? Like staggering through the woods and
being found in the woods.
Yeah.
How much?
Creeps me out.
Yeah, how much have you been out into the woods since you?
I think I try to avoid woods. Like always stick to the paths. You just don't want to go off the trail.
Yeah.
And this is what we're arguing about. Joss, we're going to have to go off the trail, man. Like, She didn't get killed on the trail.
everywhere. Just stick to the trail.
Okay.
She must have been on the trail. She wasn't just wandering.
She was picking mushrooms, man. It's like over that way, I'm sure. Come on. if I walk first, then you can follow my trail, right?
Oh yeah. That sounds right. Yeah, mushrooms.
Yeah.
Who the fuck comes out here and picks mushrooms?
Lyle, like, depends on the kind.
Man, that fucks with your head. That's how they get in. They inject that. It's injected with shit, man.
Yeah. So
my body's a temple. Can you not see?
you find the clearing, and it's not difficult to see that this is the place. It's like a small clearing in the woods. There's a trail going through it, like a path trail. More like an animal trail that people also use.
Yeah.
And there's still like blood everywhere. It's been trampled, and yeah, it's a bad scene.
Christ, man.
Looks like some sort of Nightmare on Elm Street shit.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look around, man. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe the cops left something they didn't spot. Like,
Or they were told not to see something.
Yeah, maybe the men in black didn't do their job quite right this time, huh, Joss? We'll get them. We'll take them down.
And that's when I will open my trench coat and I will pull out my forensics kit that is sewn to the inside. We need to take some details. I'm sure they've left some evidence.
Okay, man. Take it away.
Yeah, cool. Let's have Joss roll for investigate a mystery, and maybe Lyle can jump in and help if that's if it's needed. But it feels like Joss is taking point here.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's see what we get. Oh, I probably actually do need some. No, actually, no, I don't. So I rolled a 5 and a 1 plus 2 gives me 8. I think help somebody only does +1, doesn't it? In this game, it doesn't move it a bracket.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you can wander about looking interested.
I light a cigarette and stare at the stuff, and I'm just like rubbing my face and like, man.
So 7 and 9, we've got one hold. Well, I think we want more. Where did it go? Whatever attacked her, is there a trail leading from here?
You can find the trail that Pete had talked about, and I think your journalist friend, whose name I don't remember right now, Catherine, she also mentioned this. That trail is, you took one path, and this trail goes a different path, but it's in the same general direction, definitely towards the town, probably towards the school, but that depends a little bit on how you go. But that one you can find without needing the question. You can, because this is something you see.
What do you reckon, Will, from that list? Anything you want to ask?
I mean, what I would say is that we could roll that into following the trail and then seeing a more specific end of that direction, if that's if the keeper's open to that.
You can absolutely try to follow the tracks. You're not sure how long you will be able to follow them, but you can do that. I think you could ask, what sort of creature is it, based on like what clues you can see here. The ground's been trampled, so there may be tracks. You probably can't identify exactly what it is, but you may be able to get some clues. So that's just pointing out that that's something you could do.
You know what?
If you want to ask what happened here, you may get more details. Like you can do more things with the.
Why don't we go with
creature? Is it?
Yeah. So what you can see is that there are tracks here, both from what you assume are Brooke's like regular boots like she knew her way around the wilderness. She wasn't just wearing sneakers; she was wearing proper boots. But there's also boots that are definitely not hers, that are bigger, but they are boot prints. So there was someone wearing boots, and I think let me think. You also see, like, in the spot where this trail is starting from this clearing, there is a bloody handprint on like a birch, so it's pretty clear. It's big. It looks roughly like a human handprint, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's a bit smeared. But this was definitely not a bear or anything like that. It was something wearing boots that had hands.
Man, some fat-handed idiot killed her. This isn't anything supernatural, man. This is some whack job.
I mean, you gotta be pretty fucking crazy to rip someone apart like that, man. I mean, like, teeth and claws and shit. Like, that's not Jason, man. That's not even Freddy Krueger. You know, that's more like
I've got three letters for you.
American Werewolf in London, man.
PCP. They've been putting it in the water system for years, man. Somebody, one of those health freaks that drinks shitloads of water every day, man.
Listen,
that's what's caused this.
No one puts good drugs in the water for free, okay? It's money to be made of.
No good shit. Anyway, it sort of leads towards the school, man. Kids could be at risk here.
Well, no shit. But
and you know what most of those doofuses in school are like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's our duty to protect them.
Yeah. Well, nobody else is, are they?
You're looking around where this trail is going, and you look like on the other side of the tree, where the handprint is, and you can see that there are like deep gouges from if something with a huge hand and claws had like grabbed this birch tree, that's where those claw marks would be.
Some sort of Wendigo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
Or maybe it was Freddy Krueger on PCP, as you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Both good theories, Joss.
Links in with the school. Freddy was in a school. Just some drug-crazed Freddy Krueger idiot, man.
I mean, yeah, I think we should get back to the school. Yeah, we should poke around. Maybe
I didn't think I'd ever hear you say that, Lyle. We must get back to school. You turn into Pat. Day by day, you are becoming Pat Mark II.
I think this is where we cut away from you two bickering, back to Dot and Pat in the hospital basement. You can still hear this thumping from inside the morgue. Dr. Wu is like, he's just letting you steer him. He's clearly in shock.
Is it getting any louder, the thumping? Are there any other crashes that indicate that whatever is thumping in a different location than it was, which would be bad?
Not yet. You're not sure, but it seems like the sound is changing slightly, but it's probably it hasn't broken out of that cabinet that Pat pushed it into.
Pat,
it will. It's clear that that is not going to hold it.
Pat, you said that you've seen bodies before. They don't do this, right?
And like because I'm like on alert looking at the door, and you ask, and just like very casually, matter of factly, I say, only under very specific circumstances.
Pat, question I never thought I'd have to ask, but I have a gun with me if you need that, if you think that would help.
And I shake my head. You know what? It's not that I shake my head. I turn and I look at you like you've just like asked me a question, the answer to which is obvious, and I say, I'm not going to take the only means that you have to protect yourself.
Oh, Pat, it's not the only means I have to protect myself. And I smile, and you see the brass knuckles on my right hand and a knife in my left.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. And I kind of look at that. And I kind of like, I nod like, okay, this is like this situation isn't as bad as I was worried it might be. It's kind of like when he's like, okay.
My dad.
No, you should keep the gun. I have no idea. I mean, I know how to use it, but I'm not comfortable with them.
That's when the elevator arrives.
Go, let's go.
Come on, Dr. Wu. Let's get you upstairs.
Get in, close the gate, up, up we go. Yeah.
Yeah, and you think maybe you hear a crash from inside the morgue just as like the last light from the corridor downstairs disappears as the elevator shakes its way up.
Yep.
When we get upstairs, I'm going to go over to Charlie and say, Charlie, we had a problem. We actually got stuck in the elevator. Do you have an out of order sign that we can put on it?
Oh yeah, again, yeah. I'll make sure. I'll fix that. Is he okay? I points to Dr. Wu.
That's a really good question. You probably need. I'll tell you what. Can you take him and get him a cup of coffee while I put the out of order sign on the elevator?
Yeah, sure. And he pulls out the out of order sign. It's like he knows exactly where it is there behind the desk. He just pulls it out and hands it to you. Clearly, this elevator is out of order all the time. And he leads Dr. Wu off towards whatever break room they have in the back.
I really hope that thing doesn't know how to climb stairs, Pat.
I say we need to nobody here is safe while that thing is moving around. We need to get everybody out of here.
Well, that's easy. Why didn't you say so sooner? And I'll walk over to a fire alarm and I'll just like flip it.
Yeah. So Charlie comes. Do you stay after you pull the fire alarm?
Oh, hell no. No, the out of order sign's on the elevator. I'm getting out of there. I don't want Charlie thinking I pulled it.
Cool. I think.
Do I need to roll for that?
If this had been a Forged in the Dark game, I would have made a fortune roll. But since it isn't, I'm not sure if this should be. I think this should be an act under pressure.
Okay.
But either of you can roll it. Whoever wants to roll it can roll it.
I'm pretty sure that. Let's see. Act under pressure is cool. Pat is nominally better at it than I am, but I'll stand by to assist.
Yeah, and so I think this can like narratively have no problem with the idea that like she pulls the fire alarm, but Pat is the one being like, everybody out, come on, this isn't a drill, like doing that kind of thing. And so that's why I'm acting under pressure, because I'm calling attention to myself by being the one that's like saying, everybody get out of here. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and act under pressure. I've got cool. So that's going to be a flat roll. This is our fire alarm. Oh yeah, there's a 4. So hooray for experience points, but yeah.
I can't do anything to get that up, can I?
No,
Yeah.
no. You could get up to a 5.
So it'd be slightly less
Yes,
failing.
yeah, no. This is gonna bring the
Mhm.
something's gonna happen here.
But you get an XP. So
Small
what
favors.
happens? You pull the fire alarm, and just as you're doing that, the head doctor, who is Dr. Strong, she just steps around the corner, seeing you pull the fire alarm, and hey, where's the fire?
And I step forward, and like, it's in the basement. It's in the basement. Like saying, you've got to I'm like, just kind of like, you got to get everybody out of here. You don't understand. It's a whole thing. Because like I'm the one that missed the roll, so I'm her wrath is going to be directed at me, whatever consequences there are as a result of this.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And she's like trying to get you to explain. That's when Charlie comes back. He's left Dr. Wu in the break room. He comes back, but you were just down there. You didn't say anything about a fire, and they clearly want to check on this. So Charlie starts moving towards the stairs that go down to the morgue, and you hear a crash from down there, which sounds like it's probably the door to the morgue. So I think this is a good time to cut back to Joss and Lyle. Yeah, you can follow this trail. It's not super clear, but you can like make out the general direction, clearly moving towards the school. And you had decided to go back to the school. I think you're getting back like just at the end of the last period. Does that make sense to what we had established before? So like people are streaming out of the classrooms. You don't draw any attention to yourselves unless you draw attention to yourselves, but not just by nature of being there.
Hey, Joss.
Yeah, man.
Let's wait for it to clear out and then let's poke around, right? But then we'll just have to dodge Miss Crane.
Creepy Crane, no problem.
So we duck into, like the toilets or something, right? And like wait for it all to clear out and stand on the toilet seat as like someone comes around and checks that, clears out the school bit by bit. And then we'll start poking around the school, I think. Looking for any trace, like a boot print or something like that, anything that might lead us, like might follow on with that. Where did it go specifically here around the school?
You want to roll that?
Yeah, sure. As an 8.
An 8, yeah. So is this, where did it go? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you spot you're poking around and you spot like a partial boot print, a partial bloody boot print that is it's inside the school. It's pointing towards the door down into the basement.
Well,
and when you go closer, you look at the door, you can see there's there are scratches like around the door handle. Could be something with giant big claws that open the door, possible, but
Creepy horn. Who would have thought it was the school janitor?
I mean, you would have thought it was the school janitor. You're always thinking about creepy horn. Oh, come on, let's find out for sure, right? And I reach into my my boot and I pull out my tiny little knife. Because I don't think I brought my guns, my dad's 38 or my Stormy Mother shotgun to take to school today.
So the door is, you know that this door is usually locked. You also know that it's not that hard to jimmy this door open. People do it all the time.
I mean, Lyle's experience, it's not hard to open any of the doors in this school.
Yeah. So you can definitely get in there if you want to, and it seems like you do.
I do, yeah. We're playing 17-year-olds in a horror game. We should definitely be, just because none of us are the mundane doesn't mean that we don't immediately rush into the bad part of the history. Maybe if we could have a brief, quick flashback to that payphone over the road, which I guess was like kind of like as we exited the woods, before we entered the school, we could see the payphone, and I jogged over and I put some money in, and I rang up Pat's house, and I was like, "Yeah, hi, Mrs. Bertone. Yeah. If you see Pat, could you tell him we went back to school to check things out, right? Like, yeah, he'll know what I mean. But yeah, tell him that like it looks like a man." Like walks like that. Tell him like what walks like a man but has big paws, right? It's a joke. He'll get it.
The best thing though is that she does know what you mean.
Yes,
which
exactly.
is awesome. I love that. Yeah.
And she doesn't answer in any like obvious way, like, "Oh yes, I know what you mean," but she's clearly taking a note, and she's not like shocked at what you're telling her.
Oh, I imagine that Miss Bertone is like, you should really wait for, yeah, bye.
Cool. I think this is a good time to take our second break. Let's meet back up again at 5 past.
I'm back, Andish.
Thank you.
I keep going back for another bite of that curry, and every time I'm like, whew, suddenly very hot in here.
You know, I watched a sketch. I think I don't know the show that it was from, but it was several Indian people after
Oh,
a
give me
night
the
out.
blandest thing on the menu.
Yep.
Yeah. Goodness gracious
Yep.
me. One of the best sketch shows ever made. Like, so good.
Prawns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamis.
Some boiled potato and an omelette. Oh, it was so good.
What was it? 24 orders of chips.
Such a good show, man. You should, if you just Google "goodness gracious me" sketches, and they are banging. You know, Superman,
Okay.
Indian. Where else can you run faster than a train? India.
The blandest thing on the menu, I think, is probably their piece de resistance.
Yeah, it's great, that one. Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
what do you call it? Butter.
I'll look that up later. But now let's get back to the bad stuff. So I think we cut back to the hospital, and at this point, Dr. Strong has grabbed the microphone for the intercom, and she's called out, "False alarm, everyone! False alarm!" And she's telling Charlie, "Go down into the basement and check out what this is." And she's
Charlie, don't go down there, Charlie, please. Because if you do, I'm going to have to go down there with you. And I promise, Charlie, you're not going to like what you're going to see. You saw the shape Dr. Wu is in.
You're not going down into the basement. You stay here. I'm just going to check that there's nothing, that there's no fire, and then everything's fine. And Dr. Strong, she's holding your arm, Pat, not like she has a strong grip. She's not actually restraining you, but she's signaling that you're not to go anywhere.
I sigh and I look at Pat with this incredibly sad expression on my face. I'm sorry. And I pull out the 38.
Okay. So what are you trying to do?
Charlie, I like you. I will not let you go into that basement. I will shoot you if I have to.
Jesus.
And this may be a stretch, but I'm trying to protect someone. Because I know that if he goes into the basement, he's going to experience harm, actual physical harm. He might die.
Yeah, I think
that's a big stretch on that one, frankly.
Yeah, that preventing harm. It's the way I read the move. It's someone is about to take harm, and you can try to stop it. So I think this
is manipulate someone or act under pressure.
Yeah. That's what I think this is.
I mean, it's a hell of a manipulate. I mean, I would say it's the most commonly rolled manipulate someone move in any RPG is I will kill you if you don't do what I say. Yeah.
I didn't say I'd kill him.
Yeah, well,
I said I would shoot him.
Yeah. Those are different things.
I mean, I stressed that I like him. and I don't want him to get hurt. And I will shoot him if he doesn't listen. So,
yeah, whichever. You can do act under pressure, or you can do manipulate
all right,
someone.
I'm going to roll with manipulate someone just because, well, yeah, this is.
Yeah. That's plus charm, so you have a +1.
I hope this goes well. I really do. There's a 12.
That's 12. Yeah, he's like got his hands up, Dot. I don't know what you think you're doing, but please just put the gun away. But he's backing away, and
Charlie, just I promise you it doesn't look this way right now, but I'm saving your life. Do not try to go into the basement.
And you can hear like some sort of banging or thrashing around down from the stairs.
I look at Pat and I say, shit, it can use the stairs.
Yeah, so yeah, I look at you, and then I turn to the doctor, the doctor that's like got me by the arm.
Mm-hmm.
And I just look her in the eye and I say, you've been here your whole career. You've lived in town your whole life. You know, strange things happen here. This is one of those strange things.
Nice.
And I'm gonna see if I can't manipulate her into. I say, this is one of those strange things, and the patients aren't safe. This is something the sheriff needs to deal with, and not Charlie.
So are you trying to get her to evacuate the hospital, or are you trying to get her to let you do what you need to do?
No, I'm trying to get her to evacuate the hospital, to clear the hospital out. Like my concern right now is keeping the patients safe.
Yeah.
And anybody that works here, and hoping that maybe, like, I don't know this, and like, we don't know enough about this thing to know, like, is it going to run out of juice? If there's no brains around, does it go dormant? Whatever, but right now we don't want it rampaging through the hospital with a bunch of patients, like, in its line of, in the path of its rampage. So, so let me see here. So this is going to be,
that's charm. So you get a -1.
Manipulate a keeper character. I'm not real good at this, so let's see what happens. Oh, that's a 7. All right. Okay. They'll do it, but only if I do something for them right now to show that I mean it.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ask too much, they'll tell me what, if anything, it would take for them to do it. And like I've got like a desperate look on my face, as I'm like,
I think she says, I can't evacuate the hospital unless I see what it is.
Oh my God. All right. And you know what? and the arm that she's got, that she's holding on to, I say, you don't want to see it because otherwise this might happen to you. And I hold up my left arm that's got like, like the frostbite and the like the, maybe even like a whatever, like a kind of like the burns down it and stuff like that. Maybe even like a handprint where it grabbed me around the wrist or something like that. And I hold that up and I'm like, and I was like, it didn't look this way when I came in. You've got to believe me.
And she kind of
tell her the state of Dr. Wu. You saw Dr. Wu.
She hasn't seen Dr. Wu. That was
that's what I'm saying. Charlie, tell her.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, but she's clearly like determined. We have patients here who would be in danger if we move them. I cannot order that unless I know that this is a real threat. And she's starting to walk towards the basement stairs.
So I sigh, and I like fall right in step next to her, ready to like yank her out of the way. If like what I'm hoping is we can open the door and it hasn't made its way up yet, and she can do that thing where she like looks over the stair down the stairwell to see it kind of coming, to kind of see it coming up the stairs. So yeah,
I'm going to walk on the other side, and if I see that thing, I'm gonna put some rounds in it, or try to.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think like she unlocks the door because the door is locked. She opens the door, and this is like it's stairs, and there's a landing, and there's stairs, but there's a solid wall between. There's no you don't have railings so that you can look down, but you can hear something that's like stumbling, thrashing its way up the stairs on the other side of this wall, closing in on the landing. So that's when we go back to Joss and Lyle, who are going down some stairs. And I would assume both of you have been down in the basement before. It's not a well-planned and organized and well-used space. There are like storage rooms that are just packed with old furniture. That the boiler room is down here somewhere. There's like a room where people will go to like make out and that sort of thing. That's close to the stairs. And there's like a garbage, I don't know what you would call it, like whatever. There's that kind of stuff down here, and there's like where they keep big supplies, that sort of thing. Whatever is on the
and the
floor.
building's air conditioning, or I don't know if you
Yeah.
Actually, but like a plant room as well, like that sort of like stuff. Yeah. Let's come on, Joss. Keep your eyes peeled.
I think this is a good time to roll Trust Your Gut.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool. Oh, I should say, like the lighting down here, it's single light bulbs in the ceiling with their own like little there's like buttons on the walls for those. But yeah, Trust Your Gut, that's a move you have, right?
No, this is in the alternative to magic.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So that's in the Tome of Mysteries.
When you
alternative weird basic moves. Trust your gut. When you can consult your instinct about what to do next, roll plus weird. On 10 plus, the keeper will tell you where you should go. Whatever it is, it will be important. Get +1 ongoing on the way to this place. On 7-9, the keeper will give you a general direction to go. Take +1 forwards as you explore that. On a miss, your instincts lead you into danger.
Yeah, cool. Let's see the roll.
Okay, here we go. Not bad. 3 + 4, 7 + 1 gives me 8.
8. So the general direction to go, take +1 forward as you explore that. Yeah, down here in the basement, probably deeper in, is where you need to go. If this creature, whatever it was, went down here, then it's probably if it's hidden something, or if it is hiding down here, it's not going to be like right down the stairs. It's going to be deeper in. So that's where you would find any clues.
We've got to go deeper underground, Lyle. Deeper.
We're too early for Jamiroquai in this point in time. Yeah, Lyle goes like, yeah, man, I guess, but keep your eyes open. This could be a bad situation, man.
Yeah, don't worry. Are you okay going first? I mean, I do know Defendu. In fact, I used to be a master of it before they took me in the base. I think they screwed with my mind, man. You know, I used to be one of the world masters on that.
Yeah, I know, Joss. And your uncle works at Nintendo. Stay behind me, man.
Okay, man. Defendu at the ready.
And yeah, Lyle edges forward. You know, we go down the stairs carefully, creeping our way forwards. Just out of curiosity, would that trust you get a +1 on going on the way to this place? I'd argue that this would give Joss, or I guess myself even,
It's transferable.
A +1 to read a bad situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you know, we push our way down through the thing and into the basement, and you know, as we go into this gloomy darkness,
clearly more and more light bulbs are not working the further in you go.
Yeah,
and the way
situation at the opportune time.
yeah, and the way I think I'd let that work with you in a group is that it can count as Joss automatically succeed on a help roll. So Lyle, if you can roll with that +1, but then you can't get help from Joss. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah. I probably wouldn't ask for help with a read a bad situation. Anyways, it seems like a one person job. Anyways.
Yeah, but there could be other roles where it matters. Does that seem fair to you as well, Paul?
I get 11 on my read a bad situation, 12 even on my read a bad situation.
Nice. So read a bad situation.
3.
Yeah. So you don't need to ask everything right away, but
no, yeah. I guess you know, I will I'll hold on to that. I think because I think that like I'm keeping an eye out, and maybe Joss could roll and investigate a mystery while we're down here and try and find something out, and then I can ask, are there any dangers we haven't noticed? And that would be a good you know, like moment.
I will say that what you notice immediately as you're going down the stairs is that it's very cold down here. It's colder than it should be.
Man, this is cold, man. This is colder than Dot was at lunchtime.
Oh, that's low. Luckily, I read this book by Frank Herbert, where these people could increase their internal body temperature. So just think, Lyle, we can succeed.
Yeah. Do you see anything down here, man? Like,
oh man, it's shit freezing. I can't see anything.
Well then, what is?
Yeah, I'll poke about. Yeah. Have I got any? Yeah, it's probably not the best place to pull out some binoculars. That'd be quite myopic.
I put out my lighter you know.
Ah, no. What I have, though, is maps, blueprints, and building reports for significant places.
Ooh.
So I
Yeah,
probably do
absolutely.
have a schematic.
Hmm.
So I pull out my lighter and we're looking at the blueprints for the basement.
Yeah, some photos of the blueprints.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
Let's drive you
cool.
down here, man.
Uh,
Investigate mystery?
yeah, that's right.
9. Is there a +1 available?
You have your +1 from Go With Your Gut.
Oh, excellent. Will didn't use it. That gives me the sweet nectar of 10.
Yeah. So you
Which is
get
just
to
what we
hold
want.
2.
What's being concealed here? And then hold on to the other one for...
Yeah, what's being concealed here?
Yeah. I think you're moving deeper in, and you see like a pile. No, actually, what you see is like you're following the pipes that go to the boiler room. You've like identified, oh, these are these are the pipes, and you find like a whole stretch of pipes. It's like 10 feet of pipes that have been removed and just taken down. So there's clearly something. Someone is actively sabotaging the heating. It's more than just, oh, the boiler is on the fritz. There's something more going on here. Someone is intentionally trying to stop the school from being able to be heated.
I mean, I think that rolls nicely into a what can hurt it.
Ooh. Yeah, whatever this is, it seems to not like the heat. That seems to be the obvious conclusion here.
It's pretty, like, one of these, is it, you're always talking about aliens, man, and like aliens are in space. Space is cold, right? Like, maybe you're onto something.
Could be aliens.
And I, like, shit. Like, can you even get abducted from a basement? I thought that's where you got abducted too.
Man.
He's looking around with a flickering lighter, and I'd like to spend my. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed here yet?
Yeah, as you're creeping forward, you start to hear a clanging sound from where you, according to these blueprints, where the boiler room would be. And it sounds like someone is, it doesn't sound like someone's just bashing on something, but it's like they dropped, could be like one of these sections of pipe or something else, like a big metal object fell on the floor. Clearly, there is someone moving around down here. There shouldn't be anyone here down here other than Miss Horn, but you can't be sure. But there's definitely something moving.
Shit, man. Just like. Shh.
Was that a dog?
Shh. Come on. And like, let's try and sneak up into the boiler room.
Yeah.
And do it the ready.
Right.
You turn a corner. There's one of these light bulbs, kind of not flickering, but you know, like doing the like sort of fading in and out, and dangling, and you see snowflakes drift down around it, and that's when we cut back to Dot and Pat. Actually, maybe we should cut the session completely here. Give us some time for stars and wishes. And
I mean, do you want to leave us with a cliffhanger in the stairwell?
Yeah, I think so. Let's go for the cliffhangers, because if we get into resolving any of these situations, it could drag out, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
go over. Cool. So let's do XP first, and let's start with the team this time, so we don't forget it. And the XP question for the team is, did we learn something new about the supernatural world? I think we can say that that is a yes here. So you're up to 2, and we lowered the threshold to 3. So you're 2 out of 3 to get an improvement for your team. And then someone somewhere has the XP questions for the characters, because I do not have them.
Did we save anyone from certain death?
Dr. Wu.
Dr. Wu? Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
Sure. Like
Yeah.
like if we hadn't showed up and he was just in there working on that corpse,
Mhm.
who knows when that would have
Did
what harm he
we
would have come to.
did we learn something new and important about the world? I think that whenever we answer our did we learn anything about supernatural stuff, we're going to answer this as well.
Yeah.
And so far we've learned that there is some sort of creature out there that doesn't like the cold, has a human shape, and can somehow reanimate dead body parts into a hideous shambling mass. So I think that's quite a lot. So we have that. And then the other questions are, did we learn something new and important about one of the hunters? I mean, I think we learned that Dot's fucking hardcore, you know, like we'll wave that, we'll A, use her father's position quite a lot and extensively, and B, is so determined not to see anybody else die that she will threaten them with a gun. And
And we learned that Joss knows Defendu, so
Joss also is a
Yes.
master defender. Yeah.
Yep.
And his uncle works at Nintendo.
yeah.
I will shoot you to protect you.
Yes. Yeah. So I think that's 2 XP for us all, which should put some of us onto an improvement, I would think, based on the number of misses that everybody else has rolled.
Oh yeah.
It's like this game is one of those ones where, like, the better you do, the more you see other players get further and further ahead of you in terms of thing. But that's fine. And then that puts us on 2 out of 3 for our team playbook. I don't know. Well, I'll have a quick look about the team playbook XP from the codex stuff. I don't know if it would, how it's worded to say maybe, like, would that count as using the move? You know, just invoking it. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Let me have a
that's a
quick
good question.
team playbooks. Team improvement. Oh no, okay. No, it's I don't know where I got
the question, right?
Yeah, I think it's just this is just a question. I someone about the moves. Maybe I've misunderstood that. So I would you can also allocate your own experience marks to the team if you wish. So yeah, I'm gonna shove one of mine over into the team playbook. And then we've got a because 2 out of 5 is 3 out of 5 is the same as 2 out of 5.
Yeah, sure. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, until you get to 4 out of 5. But yeah, so what you can get for the team is another move, another ally, or 2 check marks for assets. And your assets currently are workshop, and was it Innocent Front?
Yeah, we have the video store.
Yeah, right. And you have the familiarity team move.
Yes. There we go, team playbooks. We are Suburban Watch Group.
Suburban Watch Group, yeah. maybe we should we could deal with that on the Slack between sessions.
Yeah,
Because-
that's a thing we should all weigh in on.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd lean towards individual transport. It's a good one.
Makes sense, but we can talk about that on the Slack.
Mhm.
So let's do stars and wishes. I'm going to start with Paul.
Very good session. Enjoyed it lots. I like how I liked Pat with his it's just a dead body. I thought you played that really well, Jim. And your reaction to it, Puckett. And then I wouldn't say you went full on Puckett, because I'm sure you've actually got a larger weapon. No, actually, you surprised me. I thought you'd have a rifle or something, but the 38 revolver was a definite star for me. Go big or go home. That's definitely your motto there, I feel. Will, suddenly you were the man in school the entire time, from the character I thought was probably the most sort of like fuck school. You ended up being the man in school, and good character play. Nice and light-hearted. Some good in-game banter. Don't often see it in games. I thought it went down a treat. I enjoyed it. And for you, Andish, damn good session. From my point of view, very enjoyable. Going forwards, let's start putting some bullets down the range, get the Defendu out. All looks good.
Cool. Thank you. Will?
I mean, I love that Pat has clearly been homeschooled into poking around with dead bodies. Like, where do the Bertones find these dead bodies, given that the community college professors? I don't think that the community college will necessarily have a morgue that you can poke around and set bodies in. But it's it was a great touch, creepy touch. You get a real idea of like just how fucked up Pat's upbringing is when you think about it, which is appropriate for the signing of the Burton convoy. And Dot ripping off exploiting her dad's stuff, I think was a great touch, because she was all goody two shoes in school, right? Until she skipped school, then went home and stole her dad's gun, her dad's papers. You dropped his name, and was ride or die when it came to protecting Charlie and everybody else. And Joss, as you know, I love Joss's craziness, and it's definitely. I really enjoyed the idea of the 5 people around town. I'd love to see more of them. There's a soft wish. Just naming them, putting them into places. I think having the local paper one there. I'd love if one of them was maybe like where you could get those town records from. That you've got access to. Because you remember with contacts, a master of Defendu and a master of social networking. And I liked keeping the cutting backwards and forwards in between the 2 scenarios. This is the body of Brooke Johnson, right? So like, it's not just a reformed mangled corpse; it's the reformed mangled corpse of a teenage girl. So that is some Delta Green horror stuff that's coming up that stairway now. Wishes wise, I guess I would like to see some consequences, like in the fiction, for some of the characters' behavior, even if it comes off well. This is not stuff that's going to go away. Like we are kids, and some of us have been doing very public things, which may go down maybe ameliorated by the shambling corpse that comes up there, but a certain father's going to be like, "What's this I hear about my gun going?" blah blah blah, or stuff like that. I'd love to, because that's what I feel with ground as well as the supernaturally stuff. And this is less of a kind of a wish, kind of a suggestion in terms of like Monster of the Week running, like the doctor saying I'll have to see it kind of stuff. To me, that point would be like where the doctor goes, "Look, get out my way, kid," and just pushes past and opens the door and sees for herself, right? Like, just to, I know the hard moves are like where you throw the consequence immediately at them, right? But the soft moves can also be like the TV style thing of like, like kind of stuff. And especially when we're 17, we've got all the NPCs have got all the excuses in the world to just be like, "Shut the fuck up, kid." Push past us. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to a proper fight as well, because I think that some of us are going to be massively outclassed by whatever we come up against, and one of us is the only one of us who's actually got any fighting skills, I think, if we look at the stats, and the only one of us who is, I think, fully familiar with the idea that there are monsters in the world, and that they come in many different forms and shapes and stuff.
Cool. Thank you. One advantage I think we have with this, like with the longer time jumps between missions, means that there can be real consequences in the fiction that doesn't like hinder us from going to the next mystery. So there will definitely be some things happening. Then exactly what that is, we'll see. Puckett.
This was a lot of fun. I think my two favorite things about the session were how unhinged Joss was on the phone call. That was just a lot of fun to listen to. And then how matter of fact Pat was about everything. Like, "Oh, I'm just going to flip this open with my butterfly knife. Oh yeah, that's a sever. Okay." Like, somebody called it doing an autopsy, and I'm like, well, it's not exactly doing an autopsy, but he's certainly looking at what happened to the body and saying, "Okay, yeah, that's okay." And then just being so matter of fact about everything. Upstairs, like, "No, you really shouldn't open that door. We need to get everybody out of here." Will, I can't wait to get back to chat with Lyle and probably say something along the lines of "fuck you, Lyle," again. I feel like that might turn out to be like a repeating theme, but I'm also really looking forward, and this is going from stars to wishes. I'm looking forward to consequences. I mean, maybe I can talk Charlie and this hotel and the hospital administrator into not telling my dad. Maybe I can't. We'll see. Play to find out, right? So yeah, I think there's some interesting conversations coming up next week, I'm sure. So there's stars and wishes.
Thank you. Going off what Will said, I think you're right about the reaction of the doctor there, Dr. Strong. I think just doing a very slight retcon, more like her tone. Like, if I'm going to evacuate the hospital, I need to see I need to know what's going on. It's more like that than like just buying what Pat is saying. If everyone's okay with that,
I'm good with it. Oh, and as always, stars for you. This is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying the mystery. I'm enjoying the way that we are kind of trial and erroring our way into figuring out what will hurt whatever this thing is. So yeah, it's nice.
Cool. Thank you. Jim.
Yeah, I jotted a few things down here that I was kind of keeping track of as we were going along. I love Lyle and Joss's somebody used the word banter, and banter is perfect because it's clear that they've been friends for a long time. And Lyle is like we've all of us had a friend at one time or another who just like was a bullshitter, or like, you know, like they were into something and really into it in a way that we were not, and they just constantly talked about it, but you liked them enough that you put up with it. And that's so clearly what's going on there, just in a way that was really fun. And it's not, yeah. And, Josh says something crazy and Lyle doesn't go, "You're an idiot." He goes, "Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Okay, now let's do this thing that we're doing." Yeah, and it's, like it's just, and that sense that a lot of this is like, kind of a little bit from last time. There's just stuff in Joss's head that's, all churning around in there, and it's got to get it out. And Paul, I love the way that you're playing that. Is really, and like, because we're still, to my mind, I'm still like not entirely clear on like how much of it does Joss really believe, and how much of it is him just grasping at stuff, trying to figure something out, right? And especially for a teenager, that's really compelling, and it's neat to watch the two of them interact with each other. I love the thing where we cut from Pat poking his knife into the wound, staring at it, and you guys going, "Man, what a sicko you'd have to be, like want to poke around in a dead body. That's some weird shit, man." And it creates that contrast where like Joss is weird in one way, but Pat's very strange in another way. And the way you guys kind of, sort of hung a lampshade on that was a lot of fun. And I really enjoyed that. Puckett, just a small thing, just the black cloth over the picture of your mom was a really neat little thing that we learned. Like, we learned something about your family that way. And I really like that. It was very striking, and it stood out to me in our just kind of like, like it was that kind of moment of like seriousness, like where things got real for a moment amongst all the crazy. And I really loved that, that moment. Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what, as far as wishes go. I do want to get some of those different pairings going on. Pat hanging out with Lyle, Pat hanging out with Joss, Dot hanging out with Joss, stuff like that, and and us kind of pairing off and trios and in different combos. Very much looking forward to that and seeing how that goes. And the other thing I have is I feel like, I kind of wanted to endorse the idea that Anders, you don't need to get too sequential with the moves, right? Like, we don't need to have a thing that immediately rolls into another move. And I know whatever moves are supposed to snowball and stuff like that, but feel free to throw consequences to us that move the story forward. As long as we succeed in what's going on. And I did feel a little bit like you gotta hit us when we fail, so that there's that, because really we need to feel the difference, I think, between full hit, partial success, and and a no kidding miss. Mm-hmm. Like real consequences, because I think did I hit a 7 and 9 or a miss when I was telling her, trying to talk her into evacuating the hospital? I think it was a 7.
That was a 7 to 9.
It's a 7-9. So what that means is that I succeeded, that worked, and she would do it, but there was a cost to me to do it.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like it like that outcome kind of felt like a fail, like I had missed.
I mean, the wording is you have to do something to prove. You have to prove it. So I think that it was if she sees it, then she'll do what you say rather than
Yeah,
sorry.
it felt a little bit so like that.
What I was going for there was if you ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for them to do it.
Got it.
So
Okay.
Just on your word to evacuate the hospital, that's not enough. She needs to know what the reason is. That's the thing. So if she sees an ice zombie stumbling up the stairs, she's definitely going to evacuate the hospital. At that point, she's on board. That was my intent with that.
Yep. No, and that feels reasonable. But the retcon where she shoves past me to look down the stairs herself removes me from that result. If that makes sense. So walking with her to stairs and we both look down and she sees it there, then I'm still part of the outcome of that move. But if we do that thing, the retcon you say where she just says, "Get out of here, kid."
Yeah.
Then I'm not part of that. Yeah.
I wasn't intending to change the actual action, more just like her tone, the way she said it.
Yeah, that
to indicate that.
She doesn't
whatever.
I'm a step behind her or something like that. Cool. As long as I'm still part of the result.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I did not intend to change that.
And I'm really looking forward to finding out whether is she the monster? Is the monster something that's in her? Or is it the result? Or is this like a side thing that's not actually the creature? And that's my other wish is for to get more like build on what's actually going on, because right now it's still pretty mysterious.
Yeah. And that's intentional, I guess. It's so my if you were thought you were done there. So my stars and wishes, big star for the feedback. I really I feel really supported when you tell me, this you could do it this way, you could do it this way. That's good for me because I am not used to the game. I run games a lot, but not this particular game. So I'm grateful for that. I really enjoyed the things that you've already mentioned, the interactions between the characters. I didn't plan to I'm going to split them up into pairs and just keep them that way. That's just how things turned out. But I really enjoyed seeing the characters interact with each other for a longer period of time as well, and in a couple of different situations. So I don't intend to keep that going, not intentionally, but I also look forward to see different pairings of the characters and see how they how you interact with each other in other constellations. I think that's about it. A lot of the stars have already been mentioned. I'm not going to repeat them, but I had a lot of fun, both starting to push some scary stuff at you and seeing how you reacted to it. So that was enjoyable. I think that's about it. Unless someone has something more, then
we'll talk online about what we want our team advancement to be.
Yeah, and if you figure out what, for those of you who get individual advancements, if you can let me know if there's something I need to know, then just mention it somewhere.
You got it.
Cool. Thank you. Take care, and end the recording.